what is a unicorn in the business world? In the venture capital industry, the term unicorn refers to any startup that reaches a valuation of 1 billion US dollars. The term was first coined by Alan Lee, co-founder of Cowboy Ventures, when she referred to startups that had a valuation of over $1 billion as unicorns. The term initially was used to lay emphasis on the rarity of such startups. Currently, India has 57 unicorns. As for the report of Venture Intelligence, Flipkart is the most funded unicorn with around $7.2 billion of funding, and Byju's is the most valued unicorn with $16.5 billion valuation. Zomato is the first Indian new age unicorn to be listed in India. So now I'm going to introduce my better half at Valuemonks, Mayank, who is going to explain you the typical features of these new age unicorns.
These unicorns are capitalized through external equity funding. This is because these unicorns do not typically have debt. There is debt, but this is mostly venture debt and very little bank debt, if at all. This is because banks do not lend to them, as they don't have any hard assets like real estate or other collateral against which these banks can lend to them. Next typical feature, what we have seen in these new unicorns is that they have a platform style business. What is a platform style business model? It's a business model that creates value by facilitating exchanges between two or more interdependent groups, usually consumers and producers. Like Paytm, which we all use and know, acts as a transaction interface or platform wherein consumers and suppliers of goods and services meet and transact. Swiggy and Zomato act as platforms where restaurant partners can give their offerings while consumers can take food from such restaurants. Flipkart, the Indian version of Amazon, is the platform for FMCG staples, white goods, apparels, etc. Nykaa does the same thing, like for cosmetics and beauty products, while acting primarily as a stockist and a manufacturer. But the platform serves consumers with end-to-end delivery. What has been seen with these unicorns is that these new age businesses, the realization by founders and investors that employees need to be given a part of the pie of the business also, so that the contribution towards betterment of business comes from the heart and mind. Thus, employees are given ESOPs. Lastly, they are high growth companies even after achieving scale. As Pranav pointed out, they have identified a gap or a problem in the ecosystem, and not only have these companies filled that gap, they have widened the gap perception in the minds of the consumers or for their goods and services. Like almost 10 years back, if I would have wanted to buy something, then I would just go to the market and buy it. Or if I would know the seller, I would just call the seller, explain what I wanted, and then buy the stuff. Of course, this latter would be rare, but eventually I had to make an effort from my part to be actively involved in the entire buying process. Now, this effort was never a gap. But when these new age unicorns, these new age businesses what they have done is that they have created a perception in my mind that yes, this gap is there. This gap is phenomenal for me. And then why should I go to the market to buy something? Why should I pick up the phone? Why should I do this? Whether I want to order food, I want to order some dress or anything. Why should I do that? Further, what if the shopkeeper does not have what I want and my trip goes waste and eventually I end up buying something that I do not want or end up being sad enough? This gap was never a gap in our minds, but now what these businesses have done is they have created a perception in our minds that the gap is much more than what it seems, and this problem needs to be solved. These businesses start to not only then gather scale but also be high growth companies even after achieving scale, as the addressable market keeps on increasing. Now I will just give you an example. As per the RHP of Zomato, which is the red herring prospectus of Zomato, on an average 68 lakh customers ordered food from every month on their platform in fiscal year 2021 with an average monthly frequency of almost 3 times. Now further, as per unit economics, Zomato makes a contribution profit of around 20 rupees per order from fiscal year 21 onwards. Thus its profit on delivering food comes to almost 490 crores. Now let us assume the customers increase to 10 million, that is 3.2 million increase, which means to say that it's all plausible. but also the monthly average frequency changes from 3 to 5 times. And the unit economics turned slightly better from 20 to 25. These are small positive changes that can lead to profit of more than 3 times, almost 1500 crores of profit. I have not done a fairy tale assumption. These are plausible assumptions. Don't go so far. See Meituan, it's valued at over $100 billion simply because China has more active internet users and lesser people eat home cooked food. Don't you see that culture shifting in India? If you can get a decent healthy meal for 2 people for just 200, would you not order more?